What I also wanted to see is Habsburg's crypt. It's the burial site since 1617. So 149 members, including 12 emperors and 19 empresses, are buried here. Also, here is buried Maria Theresa, mother of Marie Antoinette. The ticket cost 15 euros and we'll go down to the crypt. The Imperial Crypt wasn't built all at once. Over nearly 4 centuries, it expanded into 10 interconnected vaults, each added as the Habsburg dynasty grew. Walking through the crypt is like walking through time, with every chamber representing a different generation of emperors, empresses and their families. So, when we enter in the crypt, these are the founders. So it says Founders Vault. Our journey begins in the Founders Vault. Emperor Matthias and Empress Anna established this crypt as the Habsburg family's permanent burial place. Although both died before it was completed, they became the first to be buried here when the crypt opened in 1633. This is Leopold Vault and the tombs are from the early 17th century. The Leopold Vault is the first major expansion of the Imperial Crypt. Built during the reign of Emperor Leopold I, it marks the beginning of the elaborate Baroque style that would define Habsburg burials. Now we enter the Charles Vault. The Charles Vault is one of the finest Baroque spaces in the Imperial Crypt. At its center rests Emperor Charles VI, the last male Habsburg ruler, beside his wife Empress Elisabeth Christine. Charles VI spent much of his reign securing the succession of his daughter, Maria Theresa, whose rule would usher in a new era for the dynasty. We have now reached the Maria Theresa Vault, the most magnificent chamber of the Imperial Crypt, where much of Marie Antoinette's immediate family is buried. At its center rests her parents, Empress Maria Theresa and Emperor Francis I. Surrounding them are several of their children, including 2 of Marie Antoinette's brothers, Emperors Joseph II and Leopold II, and other close members of the Habsburg family. This is a tomb of a child who died on the day she was born. So her mother, Empress Maria Theresa, arranged an emergency christening and made sure that the body was laid to rest. This poor guy died from the smallpox, as well as this princess. These are the tombs of young people who died from smallpox. This is Marie Antoinette's sister, Maria Josepha. Standing among these magnificent Habsburg tombs, I couldn't stop thinking about Marie Antoinette. Her parents, brothers and sisters were laid to rest with imperial honors. She wasn't. After her execution, she was buried anonymously in a mass grave at the Madeleine Cemetery. The contrast couldn't be more striking. And we are now in Francis Vault. We now enter the Francis Vault, named after Emperor Francis II, the last Holy Roman Emperor and the first Emperor of Austria. His reign witnessed the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, the rise of Napoleon and the birth of the Austrian Empire. Francis rests here alongside several members of the Habsburg family. Together, their tombs mark a pivotal chapter in European history. People often ask if the Imperial Crypt is haunted. There are no official ghost stories connected to it, but the atmosphere is undeniably haunting. As you walk through the crypt, you're surrounded by bronze sarcophagi adorned with skulls, hourglasses, extinguished torches, and Ouroboros. None of the symbols were meant to frighten visitors. They were reminders that power is temporary, time never stops, and death comes for everyone. it's the last extension of the crypt and dates from 1960s.
Some Habsburgs were buried according to the dynasty's centuries old tradition of separate burial. Their bodies were placed here, their hearts in the hot crypt of the Augustinian Church, and their internal organs in the crypt beneath St. Stephen's Cathedral. Perhaps the eerie part isn't the symbolism, it's the silence. Room after room, generation after generation, the same family lies beneath your feet. Emperors, queens, children, and heirs whose decision changed the course of Europe now rest only a few steps apart.
This is the tomb of Marie Louise, the second wife of Napoleon Bonaparte.
After Napoleon's fall, Marie Louise returned to the Habsburg family and was eventually buried here in the Imperial Crypt.
And we're entering Franz Joseph vault. I think here the last emperor and Sisi tombs are located. This is the tomb of Sisi, who was assassinated. Still flowers and her pictures.
Renowned for her beauty, she became a European icon, but behind the legend was a woman who struggled with the strict rituals of the imperial court and spent much of her life traveling to escape them. Today, Sisi rests beside her husband, Emperor Franz Joseph I, and their son, a family whose story became one of the most famous and tragic in Habsburg history.
So on the left is a tomb of Sisi, in the middle of Franz Joseph, and on the right is their son Rudolf, who died in very mysterious circumstances.
The reign of Franz Joseph was marked by personal tragedy, including the death of his wife Sisi, his only son, and his heir, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, whose assassination sparked the First World War. Our journey ends at the tomb of Crown Prince Rudolf, the heir whose unexpected death marked the beginning of the end for one of Europe's most powerful dynasties.